the culture shock coming from the Philippines. I had my life na established na sa Philippines, and then you come here, you don't know anything.
Okay, cheers muna.
Nahilo na ako.
What's up, everyone? My name is Blas, and I'm here with Ate Gillian Cortez from Quantus Mortgage Solutions.
Hello.
Also known as the #1 Filipino mortgage broker in Calgary.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just
you're the #1 realtor here, Filipino realtor in Calgary.
I don't know, but you're doing really well. You're doing really well. So again, just there's no introduction pretty much here. So Ate Gi, kamusta na?
Okay naman, busy. What about you?
It's been pretty busy. It's been really busy.
I know it's supposed to die down nung mga ganitong times, but we're thankful na
Awa ng Diyos.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Na things are starting to pick up again kahit na winter time. I know everyone is busy.
But as many of the viewers know, that me and Ate Gi has been working together for the last couple of years. But at the same time, we never really slow down. I want to just thank you, Lord.
Thank you,
Knock on
Lord.
wood. Knock on wood. But it's been really well.
Yeah.
As you may know, Ate Gi is very all the files that we work with, especially
they're gonna start calling me Ate Gi, everybody.
Shoot. Kasi ate, what do you want me to do?
Okay,
I call you...
just to clear, kasi we get this question a lot.
Yeah.
How are we related? Are we related? So, si Eric kasi is my brother-in-law. I think we want to address that now.
We have to address
that. We don't really talk about it that often kasi alam mo yun, parang
there's a conflict of interest, but at the same time, and this is what I've mentioned to all of our past clients, right? I've worked with several mortgage brokers, right? But the care with Ate Gillian is, amazing.
Yeah.
So, and then the fact that, with the files that we work on together, it's just so much quicker. We know how to work together. And to think about it, Ate Gi, if you really look into it, and this is just based on numbers. Again, the average realtor closes about 7 to 9 homes a year. The average mortgage broker probably about 20, 30. Kasi meron sila mga refinance, they have all this stuff. But if you really think about it, we're over 100. Easy.
A year?
Over 100 a year. Just this of 2024 alone. And, I was really happy that Ate Gi also growed a team as well. Because at one point, as you know, a mortgage as a realtor and a mortgage broker, we work with your schedule. Right?
Yeah.
So you just started your Google review. And last year. Actually, this year, Ate Gi.
Was it? Okay.
Pretty much this year.
This year.
Right? And to the fact that you ranked, when you look at Filipino mortgage broker here in Calgary, her name would pop out the most, right? So again, the SEO and it speaks for itself, right? And then, but yeah, tell Ate Gi, how did you get it in? I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know, how did you get into being a mortgage broker, right? Even though you're my sister-in-law, and I already know the story. I want the viewers to know.
Yeah.
Right?
So actually, this was really not my intention to get into this business.
That's right.
It just happened that, I came from a family of mortgage brokers, right?
Yeah.
And then at that time, that I didn't know, bata pa ako, I didn't know what to do with my life at that time.
That's everyone's views, yeah.
Kasi, so tayong lahat ng Filipinos, di ba? Sasabihan tayo ng magulang natin. Kasi ako, I grew up in the Philippines. I was born in the Philippines. I moved here when I was, 19 years old?
Yeah.
So, doon pa ako nag-college sa Philippines.
Yeah.
Okay? So, syempre, usong-uso. During my time, I'm not gonna tell you what that time was. But, during my time, usong-uso ang nursing. So, lahat ng Filipino parents, kasi to get out of, makaalis ka ng Philippines, your ticket is to take nursing.
Yeah. No,
right?
absolutely.
Be a nurse overseas, ganyan. So anyway, many Filipinos, I was told, sige, mag-nursing ka.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So I followed, nag-nursing ako for 3 years. And then 3rd year of college in the Philippines, tsaka kami nag-move dito.
No, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
And that's That's a different.
It's so far from what I'm doing.
It's far
right
from
now.
what you're doing.
What
right?
I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
The first job that I landed here in Calgary was a nursing aid.
Nursing aid. Yeah.
Oo,
yeah.
okay. Pero saludo talaga ako sa mga nursing aid.
Oh.
Sobrang.
Anyone as a first responder, like
Right.
it's you really acknowledge that, right?
Yeah, sobrang hirap po ng trabaho ninyo. Influenced by family, I got into the mortgage brokering,
Yeah.
right? So I took my license back in 2009, and ever since then, I never looked back.
Never looked. 2009, eh? Or when was it?
Yeah,
it's been a while. It's been a while, right? Yeah.
What about you?
So here's a funny story, right? So as you know, yung background ko talaga mechanical engineering, right? And I was, sometimes when you're working a lot, you're working like 40 to 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
Right? You get burnt out, right? Kasi minsan, you remember I was telling to Kuya, oh my gosh, like I'm talking to Kuya for like that comfort. Oh, I'm still here at the office at 9-10 p.m. to finish a review, right?
Yeah.
So that obviously overwhelming, right? And then one day, and I guess not even one day, but like I know before when I was taking the course, the course that I was working on, course that I finished, I was already thinking about real estate, right? Well, I think about
And you know what? Nakita ko na rin yun sa'yo ever since then. Eric is very social. Lahat ng, parang ano siya eh, he's like a magnet to the people around him na, like he has so many connections. Parang kunyari, may bibiling kami, kunyari may kailangan kayo sa mall na bilhin, right? Eric, may connection ka ba dito? May connection ka dito? Lahat ng stores, like you used to work at Cross Iron Mills.
Yeah, Cross Iron Mills.
Right?
So we have all the discounts back in the day. Yeah.
And then lahat ng nasa strip ng Cross Iron Mills, kaibigan niya. Right? Like he's so, it's so easy for him to make friends. Right? So, whatever we need from the mall, we'll call him first. And then we'll ask him, Eric, may discount ka ba dito?
Remember the Uggs or the shoes?
Yeah.
The discounts? Oh my gosh, yeah.
Grabe.
Yeah.
So anywhere, lahat ng
Holt Renfrew.
lahat ng kailangan namin, like hotels, car rentals, shopping, whatever we need, he has connections. So that just tells you na like yung social ano mo eh.
I think it's just good vibes in general,
Yeah.
right? Like there's, as you know me, like I've never had any intentions of any bad juju. I always call it bad juju, right?
Yeah.
What you kind of emit out there is, what pretty much entails who I am, right? So I got burnt out in designing, drafting, project coordinating with different disciplines.
Yeah.
It was funny because I still remember we were at my townhouse and I was talking to my wife, maybe I should get into real estate. And then, Ninang Evelyn, which is your mom.
My mom.
She was sitting at the stairs and she was talking to me, bakit? Because, you should just get into real estate.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I kind of just like, obviously like, work was really, my work that I have before was, as well, it was, it was good, but like, it was like taking the gamble, right? And then, long story short, I decided I let myself go, in that company. I've never felt happier. But at the same time, money was really constrained, right? Because I had to go back to school for another 6 months to finish that course.
Right.
Right?
I remember.
I remember.
Pagpunta sa bahay namin, meron ba kayong toothpaste?
No, that never happened. That never happened.
No, it did, dude.
Did it? When?
Can I borrow your vacuum?
Can I borrow your vacuum?
Pero wala rin kaming pera noon, no?
Yeah.
Wala rin kaming pera noon.
So again, you're making me red. Maybe it did happen.
It did.
It did.
Yeah, toothpaste. There's ano ba yung Mac? There's a Mac dyan sa kanto.
Yeah, it was really tough, right? Because Diana was working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
It was working 2 jobs, and then I remember.
You had Mila.
And I had Mila, and again, I was a young parent, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I had my kid when I was 24, right? While everyone's still having a good time,
Yeah.
right? And then here she is, 8 years old. Like, wow, it's definitely. She's just, I don't know, she's such a big girl now, right? Oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. But anyways, that's, I went in and I joined a team. Right? I joined a team and I was like, but I noticed when I joined that team, I mean, again, I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
He's one of the best realtors in the game right now.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that, hey, with, my outgoing personality, I was, it was weird, right? At the gate, I got in.
Yeah.
And I still remember, right? I'm not saying names, but I remember when I got into it and I started talking to people, I'm going to be a realtor, blah, blah, asking for advice. Professionals asking for, alam mo, mahirap to. Mahirap yung trabaho na to. It's not cut for everyone. It wasn't that positive.
Yeah. Encouragement. Yeah.
Right? So I was like, you know what, fuck that. Again, sorry. But that was my mentality. Like, okay, well, fuck that, right? So I went in, I started working with my peers, I started connecting with people.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the intentions to, make a sale. It was an intention to like, it kind of gives me the push to like rekindles that relationship before. And it was nice, right? And what I noticed was just like, that creating those relationships with people, it kind of grew my business. And, it just kind of started, and again, as a first year real estate agent.
Parang everything happened so fast. Parang I can still remember yung day na he was starting out and I was on maternity leave. We tried to work together.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out the first time because I had my little one.
Dude,
right?
and I'm going to apologize again one last time. Dude, so Ate Guy had his second child.
Yeah.
Like, postpartum, 1 weekend.
And then he comes over. No, you didn't call. He comes over to my house. And then, can you call this client? Well, I was still groggy from all the meds that I took from a major operation. And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
I'll call him. So we tried.
We tried. Right? But that's like how much I care about, the clients we work with, right?
Yeah.
Because we just like, these guys are like they're freaking out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I take it in, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes my common sense just goes out of the window, right?
That's okay. But I mean, all I'm saying is that I remember that day.
Yeah.
And it feels like it was just yesterday. I don't even remember how we got
where we are.
How we got here.
No.
Right? And I mean, hindi namin makakalimutan.
No, 100%. Where we like, and nothing has like, obviously like, things have changed over the years, but we're still the same people.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, like, like it's just kind of like I'm speechless about it. I've been in the industry for 5 years now, right? And growing a team and building something with the people around our sphere was probably one of the best blessings.
Yeah.
Here we
and
are
it's
right now.
really just talagang I'll give it to him.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We'll give it to him. Talagang it could be, he could have picked.
Cheers.
Yes.
Yeah, cheers to that, yeah.
Yeah, he could have picked,
anyone else,
anyone else. There's, a lot of realtors, mortgage brokers, but, talaga, sorry. Thank you, Lord. Talagang, minsan di ako makapaniwala, right? Like he has better plans for us. Right? Na kesa dun sa mga pinlano natin for ourselves. Right?
Yeah. No, it was crazy because, and especially when I got into the industry at the gate, there was already oversaturated. You already had the top, of the topper echelons, right? And I'm not saying we are, but we are. Hey. Just to let you know, Ate Guy was one of the top mortgage brokers of last year, and she was invited to the blue. What is that called again?
It's so it's this specific lender. What they do is they gather or they picked 13 mortgage brokers all across Canada. So I was so intimidated when they called. Kasi nga, the people that I went,
I'm getting goosebumps.
I know
like my hair
the
started
people
going
that
up.
I went with are CEOs and owners.
Yeah, you're
of the brokerages. I'm like nobody, right? They called me.
Yeah.
We want you here. We saw your numbers and, talagang they invited me. I was so nervous on the plane. I was rehearsing my lines. I didn't know.
You flew to Toronto, right?
I flew to Toronto for a day. We did like a whole production of, an interview kami, like back to back with all these other, big time brokers. And I'm like, and they don't know me, right?
Oh,
I know everybody else that's in the room. And alam ko kasi na starstruck ako eh. Parang,
Yeah, these guys are like that. Like again, like you know, like we could even put names. Like obviously, like your boss.
Yeah.
Your boss was like Paul Bajacli is one of the like prominent mortgage mortgage broker in Calgary, right?
Yeah. Grabe. He's like the biggest, one of the biggest mortgage brokers in Canada.
In Canada.
And, I was so blessed to be a part of that, that group, yung 13. And I don't know, I was told that I was first on the list. I don't know why.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And then, grabe. Hindi, promise.
No.
When I was in the interview, because I was the first one they interviewed.
Yeah.
Right? Umiyak ako talaga.
Yeah.
Umiyak talaga ako sa interview. Kasi, alam mo yun, it's a full production. Like, you have your makeup artist, hairstylist.
You're in TV.
Yeah. And then, the camera all over with the lights and everything. And then, as I was being interviewed, parang may nag-flash na light. And then I'm like, why am I here?
Why am I? Oh, 100%. It's honestly so crazy what...
Yeah.
Like, and it just happened.
And then I started bawling.
Yeah.
Talagang everybody in the room stopped.
Yeah.
They had to wait for me to stop crying. So at that time, the question was, I can't remember the exact question, but yung answer ko was about the newcomers to Canada.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, hello.
Hi. Like right now, thinking about it, naiiyak din ako.
Yeah.
But the question was, parang, why is your business so important to you? So my answer was about the newcomers to Canada.
Absolutely.
And then it all flashed back to me with the lights and everything. Nag-flashback sa akin eh.
Yeah.
Na ako yun eh, newcomer ako eh.
Yeah,
right?
we're all immigrants. We're all immigrants, right?
So, like, I was a newcomer and parang bigla akong, something hit me. And I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like, why am I being interviewed? Right? So...
Fuck!
I know.
Why am I crying? Why is this happening?
So,
but again...
Hindi talaga, it hits home.
It
right?
does.
It hits home. And I'm like, my answer to that question was, it came from the heart na talagang, I'm not a very emotional person, but when it comes to that, like my background, my experience, being new to Canada na, parang dinala ka sa isang bansa na wala kang alam.
Culture shock.
The culture shock coming
yeah.
from the Philippines. I had my life na established na sa Philippines. And then you come here, you don't know anything.
You start from scratch.
Yeah.
You start from scratch, right?
Yeah.
And it was just so crazy. Like, and I think that's why we work so well, is that we're so passionate to be Filipino. Like, we're very proud.
And I would never, I'm not just saying this because I'm on camera, but I would never.
Yeah.
How would I say it? Like, never kong iisahan ng kapwa ko.
Lalo
na nabago sila sa Canada kasi I can relate.
And that's the thing. And then actually that's what I, going back to, on my side, like one of the reasons why I got into real estate is because like I just didn't see that there was that much connection in that in the Filipino community.
Yeah.
And everything was so it felt like so transactional for the relationships with other people, right?
Yeah.
But
Filipino, it's a relationship eh.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun?
It's so nice. And you want that.
Even,
and you want that, like, you want to just, it's just helping someone. And it's that feel-good moment, right?
And even after our, closing dates, whatever, naka-move in na sila sa bahay, like, andun pa rin yung connect, like, andun pa rin yung relationship.
Just like even 6 months later, they call you. Actually, it's funny because you did, I could talk about all of these deals that we worked together. So again, with one client called me, it's like, oh, she's, alam mo, nung ni-refinance ni Atigi yung file, I'm so happy. I'm actually bringing a client. She sent like your contact information. Like, again, it's just like so hand in hand when we work together, right? Because like and even then, right? Like there's other realtors that work with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the good thing about Atigi, and I'll tell this to everyone, right? Is that if that is, a good example, a good friend of mine, Alex Briones, right? When you work on a file with Alex Briones, that file stays there because that is like, even though you're my sister-in-law, and it's just that's the like that relationship that you and Kuya Alex,
right?
You don't try to favor one or the other. The only reasons why we're doing so well is because like we're, it's just the grace is just coming into us, right? But again, other than that, like she works with several other realtors, and I'm happy that she's also working with other realtors as well too.
Yeah, same on your end, right?
Like
you get clients that have their own mortgage brokers or banks, right? Pero like at the end of the day, ako, like I always tell, like I'd rather, kasi we work well together, right? Na alam ko na aalagaan mo yung mga kliyente ko.
And I'm also really
versa.
taking care of your time as well, right? So for example, if I feel like a client is shopping around and she's, and she's just looking for that number, is not looking for the service. Because what you do, Atiki, and just like me, right? When I'm listing a property, I'm Filipino. I'm gonna give discounts.
Yeah.
Because I like discounts. You heard about the story about the malls, right? I love discounts, so I'm gonna give discounts, right? But if it feels like, like one person is just shopping around and you already give your best number and then they want more of it, and I feel like that's like taking advantage. So I'd rather, you're working with 30, 40 clients at the same time. If this client wants to work with a different person who's willing to do that, then so be it.
And so be it.
Yeah.
And I'm always honest with giving my clients advice. So, for example, alam ko, like I'm not going to take a client just for business, just for numbers.
It's relationship.
Yeah. And, if they're being offered a better rate elsewhere, like I would tell them straight up, you know what, take it.
I don't know how many times you did that.
Yeah,
You've done that.
I've pushed clients away.
Yeah.
Kasi I know what's best. Like, being in the industry, like I know what I would do for myself.
Yeah.
If I was in their position. So I wouldn't just take it to make a sale.
And same goes with me, Atiki, right? Like there's times that, and I can mold myself to every person around me. But if the client is not happy with me and the team, I'd rather have like one of your other, referral
Which doesn't
clients.
happen a lot. Like they're usually happy with you.
Yeah.
So,
but I know. But again, I'm also not gonna I'm not also gonna give in, right? Like I'm the type of person where like there's times that I have let go of clientele where like they're asking for the moon, right? They I remember one time, again, another story. There's this one client. Range Rover, nice car, you know what I mean? And then she goes to me and tells Ate Gee, ano ba yung mortgage broker mo? You didn't get, I make this much, but you only gave me this number.
Yeah.
Well, you also make, you have a Range Rover.
Yeah.
Well, you have a Range Rover. That's all I gotta say, right?
Yeah.
And then that's the thing about me is that like, the people that I work with and the people that I like, truly care about, I'm gonna fight back, right? If someone tells me that my mortgage broker's partner, she did everything that she could to have that number for you, giving you that time, and then you're talking shit, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna be like, well, this is why, and this is why, and this is why, and you already know. You could have been approved for 900,000, but you got approved for 500,000. You got two nice cars.
Yeah.
You got a lot of credit cards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes I'll just say, you know what, go work with this and that, right? Because I want to make sure that my relationship with Ate Gee is more important, is as important that I'm working with the client that's willing to work with us.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not often. Because a lot of our clients, like they...
Oo. Alam mo, ang babay talaga ng mga Pilipino.
Oh my God.
In fairness.
Yeah.
Talagang, minsan may nag-cover sa akin when I went on vacation, right? So, they would take the calls for me. They would take the calls for me, ganyan. What they noticed about my clients, sabi sa akin, alam mo, ang babait ng clients mo.
I know.
Oo. Sabi ko, I know. Hindi, mababait talaga yung mga kliyente. Like, we don't, parang yung respect.
Cheers. Knock on wood.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Ayoko nang buwisit.
Cheers, cameraman.
Right? Mababait sila. No, eto, si Erica. Ano lang, based on my, syempre, sino kukunin ko na realtor when I bought our property at saka sold our property? Of course, si Eric, right?
Yeah.
Si Eric, when we were looking at houses, my experience with you was that you were very honest with the houses that we looked at.
Yeah.
Right? Pagpasok pa lang sa bahay, sasabihin niya na, ayoko nito.
Yeah.
right? Like he would tell you straight up, ayoko nito, wag to. Right? Tara, alis na tayo.
It's like 5 minutes. It's like it's not like I'm being lazy, but it's just like for me, if I always this is my mindset when I tell with my clients, right, or friends now, most like friends, is like if I was in that budget, 400,000, what would I buy for 400,000?
Yeah.
Right? Judging from what I know from the client over time with the interviews and etc.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like I like I said, my job is not to really sell the house. My job is to negotiate for the house.
And he points out all the wrongs in the house.
Yeah.
So you don't, it's not like, because if you're lazy, then the first house that we walked into would have been sold.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
But we had to look at, quite a few houses before we found the house that...
Oh, we took it. We almost went on a new build.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that was nice.
He was like hustling very hard dun sa salesperson sa new build. Ako na yung nahihiya. Na, Eric, tama na, Eric. Kasi
makapal na mukha, no?
Tawad siya ng tawad. Tawad siya ng tawad. So, sabi ko, kami ni kuya mo, so we were there. We didn't talk. We let him do all the talking kasi that's his expertise, right? Yeah. But then we're like, okay, we were good with like a 10,000 discount on new build because knowing new builds, hindi naman talaga sila nagbibigay ng discount. Like this guy tried to take 50K or more.
But we did.
Yeah. From their price. And we were like her brother and I, her brother is my husband. So we were like, doing this to each other. We're like, sabi mo, tama na. Okay na. Okay. Eric, tama na. Nakakahiyan. Eric, tama na.
Makapal ang mukha ko.
Hindi kasi Filipino yung nag-tip.
No, but he was like, I also create, and I think with the builders that I work with, I've already created relationships with them.
Yeah.
Right? So I can, I can gauge someone in the first 30 seconds if I can play my cards.
Right.
But you know what? I don't really care, right? Like for me,
he's not scared of rejection.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's gonna try it for you. Hindi ba? Parang,
it's not gonna hurt me, right?
It's not gonna hurt him. Yeah. If I ask for a 50,000 discount and they say no, what's the worst thing that could happen? They say no, right? Then we change our offer. Yeah. But then we got it, right?
but here's the thing: we still walked away. We still walked away.
Yeah.
The reason why we walked away because the what ifs. Parang, like the thing about buying a house, right? Atigi, it's just like yung parang feel.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta have that feel.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta have that feel. And then since we're having this conversation, we actually found a resale home, and
for a lot less.
For a lot less.
Yeah.
And we at first, diba, Atigi, actually it's really funny. That story is that me and my wife, we were on our iPads, and it's like, oh, what are we looking? And my wife was like, oh, I like this house.
Yeah.
Right. And then you saw this house already before.
Yeah. But I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
To the house.
Yeah. It was really funny. It was like, my wife loved it.
Yeah.
Diana loved it, right? And then it's like, let's go see it. So we go see it, and like the potentials were endless, right? And it's just like this was backing into green space. It was an open floor plan. And what I really love about that house is that so Atigi works at home. Works from home, and she has an office, right? The beauty thing about this house that they purchased is that when she opens the home, the living room opens out, right? The living room, and then your kitchen, open concept, and it's just and that's what that's how my brain was running.
This is what we need. We've been there in that house since 2021, and every day that we're there, we're still loving it more and more.
You're constantly upgrading the property.
I'm constantly renovating, but grabe kasi yung potential ng bahay.
It is, and right? It was so funny because honestly, the house was great, and now it's 10 times better from what I've seen. But it
doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop, right? You went to Hawaii for a month.
Yeah.
And the thing about Atigi is that if she goes travel, she's still constantly working.
Yeah.
Right? She's still answering phones, she's still answering emails. And I remember when they had to go, they just wanted to have a change of scenery. And I go to their house. I'm not like a house sitting or anything, but I need to pick up for another event. And I was like, there's renovations here. There's renovations. I was like, what's going on? This house is already good. Because honestly, Ate Gi, when we got the house, you renovated the whole place right away. You didn't even live there for like 5-6 months.
6 months,
And like the results was, it was beautiful, right? Like, and that's the thing about buying a house, right? Ate Gi, is like, you know, on my end, like nothing is 10 out of 10. Nothing is 10 out of 10, right? There's always going to be flaws in a property. And when you kind of look at it, you just got to look at the positives behind it, and we can always tweak a little bit, but nothing is 10 out of 10. You know, if 10 out of 10 is like living in Hawaii with a 4,000 square feet home by Lakani Beach, Lakani Beach for $300,000. You know, that's the 10 out of 10, right? But again, like you gain to appreciate, you know, what we have, right? And that's how we see with our clients, right? You know, if our budget is 300,000, we can work with it. Like start in small, you know, baby steps. Right. And you know, coming from me, you know, like with my, you know, my personal background, right? You know, we came out, you know, small. We came from a townhouse. Yes, I have rentals here and there, but we came out, you know, came out small, and and it just takes time. You know, you build it. You don't just like
jump into. You know,
you don't jump into a Ferrari, you know, right? So, and that's how it is, right? We just take our time, and that's how we tell with a lot of our clients, right? You know, a lot of, at one point back in 2021, you know, when the market was like crazy, and there were pre-approvals of 400,000, and but at the time,
it's a single detached.
And then we were only getting duplex and townhouses at that price point, right? And it was just like kind of funny how that kind of. You know, like the result from our clients' feedback, gusto ko talaga detach. Right? So here's the beauty of it. The properties that they purchased in 2020 and 2021 went up by 200 grand. Right? And now we're seeing the after effects, even 2020, right?
We have a lot right now that are selling their homes. And moving up. That's the majority of our clients right now. And these were return clients.
Recurring
from, you know, clients that bought, you know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Condos, townhouses.
That listen, you know, listen, okay, we can start small. You don't really have to, get into a big house right away. And now they're getting into that big house, like after what, a couple of years?
A couple of years, and it was such a. I feel like you know what we kind of give out as well. The blessings also comes up to them, right? Because we're very very blunt too, Ate Gi. Like we tell our clients like when we're billion. You know, we tell our clients like who are you trying to impress? Like there's times I have conversations like that, like. You know, we don't need a big house. Just live within the means, and let success create the next step, right? And that's what I'm really happy because a lot of our clients are like moving up. A lot of our clients are doing well. A lot of our clients are traveling more, especially the clients from Vancouver and Toronto. You know, they actually have that extra, you know, cash on hand to do more things in life, right? Right? Because life is short, right? So. But yeah, I mean, okay, cheers muna.
Nahilo na ako eh.
Okay, sounds good.
Magdadrive pa ako.
Don't worry. Uber. Keys, please.
Okay, Eric, the past couple of years, you probably noticed.
Hundreds.
Yung business natin, like maybe half of it, were relocation. From out of province, whether it be from BC, Toronto, ano pa ba?
Ontario.
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. Winnipeg.
Saskatchewan. Everywhere else.
Manitoba.
Like everybody is moving here to Calgary. I've noticed, right? Why are they choosing to move to Calgary?
Honestly, there's so many different factors, right? So like when we kind of look at it, right? I don't want to play politics, but politics is one of the major key factors behind it, obviously. But if we're looking at affordability, right, where, again, back in the day, right, sa tingin natin, 100,000, 6 figures, good money. Right. But if you're in Toronto, you're in Toronto. 100,000 is 60,000, right? Because there's that lifestyle inflation, right? You cannot, and I always tell this to the newcomers. Again, we are so like we are, newcomers at one point, right?
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, like, you cannot beat generational wealth. Right? So like if a Filipino guy's been here in the 90s, they're going to have a house for 1.6, 1.7 in Toronto, even 2 million.
Yeah.
Even in Vancouver. Right? They've already built that.
Yeah.
Right? So for someone who's moved to Canada in even at 2010, 2015 or 2020, right? There's already that, like, difficulty. There's already a handicap.
Yeah.
Right? So even if you're making 100,000 and you don't have a house, that, again, the person who is making, who has that house in the 90s, different story.
Yeah.
Or, again, long story short, right? So even if you're making 100,000, even 150,000, right? You just can't keep it with the Jones. That saying, you keep it with the Jones, right? So like, the reason why a lot of people are moving to Calgary, again, is affordability, right? So again, we don't have, we only have GST. We don't have PST.
Yeah.
We don't have land transfer.
Yeah.
Right? So like in Vancouver, you have to pay a 1% or
I was there
2.
last week, Vancouver. We went
Yeah.
for a little shopping. PST, oh my gosh, $30 additional to our bill.
To our bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's $30.
Yeah.
Could have been like a McDonald's meal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that goes to show, right? And it's just like, a lot of people go to Vancouver and Toronto for the lifestyle. But if you don't have money, there's no lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right? You're constantly working. And the frustration behind it is that, like, Canada gives out this image that we have this wow. The life is good here.
Yeah.
Right? But as Filipinos, we care. Right? And sometimes, I have conversations with our clients, blah, blah, blah. Like, nothing's going to change in their lifestyle in the Philippines. You're giving them money, they're just going to expect it. Right? And again, like, there's nothing wrong with that, of course. But in terms of affordability, like, the reason why they're moving to Calgary is the affordability, right? Like, we had, I don't know, like, dozens of clients that do really, no more than, like, a lot of clients that are doing really well in Toronto, that moved to Calgary, transitioned and got new jobs that are paying the same, that are actually traveling and enjoying, and they actually get to spend time with
that
their
extra
kids.
budget. Na, nangilo na ako eh.
Like, again, like, it's just like the cost of living is just...
Yeah. Like, I've talked to clients that moved from, other provinces that used to work like 2 jobs, 3 jobs. They don't have time for their families, right? And that was one of the reasons why they're moving here to Calgary.
I'd rather live in the Philippines.
Right. They want to cut down to working 1 job.
Yeah.
And then afford their mortgage, afford everything else, like have extra for travel and leisure and whatnot, right? Kaya sila lumipat dito.
Yeah,
right?
and that's pretty
more
much...
time for family.
And what I've noticed over, like, one of the things that some of our clients were so scared of is that they're leaving their friends behind.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, oh, we're not going to have friends here.
Yeah.
We're just going to be ourselves. And before they know it, the value of family comes in. Like, they exerted their family, their time with the family more, and they actually appreciated more than that. Because now they're not like, hindi na kailangan pumunta to this and that and this and that. They're just like appreciating
You have more time with your family.
Yeah, and that's the whole focus why we're working hard, right? And we're not doing it just to have the self-image. We're doing it for the kids.
Yeah.
We're doing it for, like, your wife, right? So that's, again, like, the number one priority. Like, the from what I've seen for the years is that, like, affordability, right? And that's really pretty much it. Like, a lot of people will think, what? Name 3 reasons why they moved to Calgary. It's really affordability. Like, as someone that, again, it goes back to affordability, right? Like, they, as a nurse, you can find a job here. They actually pay more here, right? If you're in the tech sector, they can find a job here too, because we're also big on that way, right? A lot of the jobs that's in Vancouver and Toronto, you can find it here, right?
And I think too, yung mga, alam mo yung nag-open up na ever since COVID, buti nga like, there's good and bad with COVID.
Yeah.
Nag-open up yung mga work from home positions.
Yeah.
And that's how, like, when I started noticing people are moving here because they get to work from here. So why live there and, pay more for your mortgage or your rent when you can, pay?
So basically, affordability is one of the things that's how I kind of say, okay, what?
Okay. Can you please stop talking about affordable?
Okay.
We get it, okay?
Yeah, we get it. Sorry.
It's more affordable here in Calgary, but what else? Like, what is the lifestyle like here in Calgary? Ano bang lifestyle dito sa Calgary kasi?
We love Vancouver. Vancouver was like the spot, right? You just went to Usher.
Yeah.
You just went to Usher.
Yeah.
Right? But long story short, there's been a lot of concerts here that you just never looked at, right? But again, Calgary, in terms of food, in terms of everything around us, it's the same thing. If you really think about it, they have the ocean, and yes, they have all these things, but can most people afford Vancouver, right?
Would you have the time to go out there if you're working 3 jobs?
No.
I think, right?
No. Like, it's impossible, right? So, for example, for me, like I was in Vancouver, literally 4 months ago, right? And, again, the hype back in the day when we were younger, Vancouver had Japadog, they have all the sushi, they have everything. But when you kind of think about it, when I just came back 4 months ago, the sushi tastes the same here in Calgary as well, too.
Yeah. I think we're catching up when it comes to lifestyle.
I
with
think
food and like restaurants, like leisure, like we're so close to what? Like gano'n kalayo yung drive from here to Canmore and Banff?
But in terms of leisure, we're already caught up.
Yeah.
Right? Because think about it, right? Like Calgary, in Vancouver, it's just more like going out, doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
But we have 17th Avenue, we have Stephen Avenue, and it's pretty lively, right? But again, like that's really like different from, each to their own.
Okay.
We have one of the best Filipino restaurants here, hands down.
Yes.
And that's Chopsticks.
Chopsticks?
It's really good. I mean, we can talk about it. I'm very biased. When I like something, I'm gonna give them a shout out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we have really good food here. And to be honest, the Calgary International Airport, right?
Yeah.
You love Hawaii.
Yeah.
we it's nonstop.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're the person who goes to the Philippines a lot, all you gotta do is a 1 hour layover to Vancouver and you go to the Philippines. There's no real difference, right? A lot of the times, and that's the thing about, and again, I'm no offense, I love you, like Vancouver realtors, right? And I appreciate you guys. But the fact is that the lifestyle is already here, right? Like what better of a lifestyle is, again, going back to 40, is the fact that you can go to Mexico with not even thinking about PST. So even if you play PST as a role here, it kind of accumulates on a travel. Even if you just go to Vegas, right? Just the little things can add up.
So
right?
when your family migrated from the Philippines, diretso na kayo sa Calgary, di ba?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you never moved since. Like you've been in Calgary this whole time.
Again, that's going back to my Filipino roots of family is first, right? We also had family in Toronto as well, but we really incorporated Calgary. And I just kind of grown to appreciate Calgary, right? Just because of what's around it. It constantly grows. And if it's just lifestyle, it's honestly already there. Like think about it. Like people talk about how cold this place is.
Yeah.
Right? We'll hit the -30, right?
But we get Chinooks.
Then we get Chinook.
Right.
Right? You go to Vancouver.
We get breaks.
You go to Vancouver, you get slushed up. So
okay. Nung nando kami last week, okay, that's their winter time there, right? 4 p.m. madilim na. And it's always 24 hours.
It's gloomy.
It's sorry Vancouver, but it's raining all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
Na dapat lagi kami dalang payong. Like dito sa Calgary, it's so sunny.
It is very sunny, right?
Even in the winter time, you don't get that winter feel.
Yeah. Because the sun is there.
The sun is there, and we get breaks from the winter because of Chinook.
Chinook, absolutely. Right? And that's how we kind of look at it. I'd rather have snow than rain.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Because think about it, you're always constantly wearing boots. You're constantly wet, right? And I'm I'd rather just have the snow come in and just kind of
brush it off. Yeah.
Right? And you know what? I do like winter fashion though. For me. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's funny because like the cameraman told me, because I was wearing a jacket before this.
Okay.
And he's like, take it off. I was like, but I like wearing a jacket. It's kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
You kind of just learn to appreciate, to adapt, right? Yeah, no offense to Regina or Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Right? Or Winnipeg or Manitoba.
There's things to do here.
There is things to do here. Like, think about it. Like, if you're, again, Filipinos love basketball. There's literally, like, at the you know this. There's sponsorships left, right, and center for 30
Leagues.
30 leagues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's just,
Yeah.
But for the most part, what I've found is like, if I can't even like describe, like, honestly, if I could see myself living in Vancouver for 6 months, it'll probably be the same routine as it is in Calgary. You know what I mean? Like you kind of look at it where it's like you go back, you wake up. If I was an engineer, if I wasn't doing engineering again, I would wake up, I'd go back to work and go back home. Right? And I would do the same routine every single time until I accumulate savings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when I move to Calgary, I'm gonna do the same thing. Because at the end of the day,
have more savings.
But have more savings, right? And more time with my family, right? I'm not spending $800,000 for a townhouse.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so wait, you have 3 kids. So Eric has 3 kids. So he's got an 8-year-old,
3-year-old,
3 and
16 months.
16 months, right? And like, can you tell, parang kasi baka isipin nila walang buhay. Yun nga, yung parang iniisip, yun yung mindset nila walang buhay dito sa Calgary. But what do you do with your kids as a family man? Like, what do you do with your kids on your days off?
So
here in Calgary?
Again, on my days off, when I kind of look at it, like, my kids love indoor playground, right? There's like 7, 8, 9 indoor playgrounds here, right?
We have a zoo. We have
a zoo.
Alam mo ako, like I have 2 kids too, right? Every weekend is fully booked for my kids.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of things to do with kids here in Calgary.
And here's the beauty about the zoo or the science center, right? So how much? I can't recall how much did we pay for our science center membership? It's like $100 bucks, like $80 for the whole family. It's like $150 for the whole family.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like, there's an indoor playground there. The kids are getting educated, right? Like, you can literally, like, $150 can save the whole year of actually doing it for the kids, right? And again, these are the little tips and tricks that we can provide to sometimes our clients, right?
Yeah.
But again, in terms of lifestyle, we have so many breweries here as well too, right? We have so many pubs and
okay, wait. Iba tong lifestyle mo eh. Yung lifestyle niya, ako gusto kong sabihin yung lifestyle ng mga bata. But he keeps coming back to this kind of lifestyle. Okay, tell me about your lifestyle.
What do you mean by your lifestyle, right? If I was a target, if I was a third, I'm in my
like I'm in bed by 9 p.m.
No,
that's
stop,
my lifestyle.
Guys. You just came back from Usher. You're a front row with Usher.
Okay,
Stop
where are you at 9 p.m. every night?
No. Wait, stop.
Where do you go?
But I love to take care of my clients, right? So like, I like to have a good time.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna have a good time, I'm gonna have a good time,
okay.
right? But again, long story short, we have these pubs. We have pubs. We have nice fine dining. We have all these. You started drinking all of a sudden, But you know what I mean, right? Like, it's just like there's opportunities on a Monday, right?
Yeah.
Industry night on Mondays, but we don't have to. But
that's good. Like, a lot of people think that there's nothing to do Monday
on the weekdays. Yeah.
Talk about that.
We got Monday industry nights, right? It's not like back in the.
I don't know about that.
But like, it's not like in the early 2000s where we're clubbing and blah 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 blah, and we're more of like pubs and like a lot of leisure times. There's a lot of like arcades here that we can go like Greta Bar and like the Rec Room. Why are you just like, meh?
I don't know.
But
I know hi-fi, that's it.
I don't even think that's open though.
Is it not?
It's
no.
closed.
Okay. We used to go there every Sunday.
Yeah.
But that's it.
But that's the thing. There's a lot of things, right? Like when we go to Vancouver, we go to Yale Town. We also have 17th Avenue Southeast.
Yeah.
Right? There's definitely a lot of things that Calgary has to offer. Most people just don't see it. Most people just see that Calgary is just a working sector. Right? Like like we just work, right?
No, not the case.
Not the case. I for me, like if a household income can afford to travel, I would pursue that more. Mm-hmm. Right? I just feel like traveling gives out wisdom to our kids, gives us to
more bonding time.
More bonding time.
Yeah.
Creating relationships to our families.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit advocate. I'm a real advocate for traveling.
Okay, pakisabi nga yun sa kuya mo.
What?
Please. Kasi inaaway niya ako eh. Pag book ako ng trip eh. Sabi niya sa akin, nasa bakasyon pa lang ako, nagbubook na ako ng next trip. I did that already too. Right?
I did that too, yeah.
Tapos aawayin niya ako. Sabi niya, ano ba yan? Ganyan tuloy-tuloy na lang. But, I mean, yun nga yung beauty of living in a city where it's affordable.
Right? Like you have the options. You can look at your bank account, like I can do it again. You know what I mean? I can do it again. And anyone can do it. Really. Anyone can do it, right? And for me, I cannot say that to Kuya, because that's Kuya. I'm not gonna go to him. I'm not gonna meddle with that marriage. But again, he's gonna see this. But if you can do it, why not? But even then, right? Like that extra cash doesn't have to travel, right? The extra cash can just go into our savings or our rainy days, right?
Kung anong trip nyo, diba? Go back to the Philippines. Or help yung family in the Philippines. Tayong mga Pilipino, matulungin talaga tayo by nature. Right?
So, right? Think about it, Ate Gi. We were just having on our break time. When you moved to Canada, right? Our mindset was, in the Philippines, if I had a birthday, I'm gonna treat everyone else. Right?
Yeah. When I first moved here in Canada, birthday ko, right? So, I made friends, ganyan, right? So, I was ready to pay for the bill kasi nga, birthday sa Pilipinas, tayo magbabayad, di ba? Dito sa Canada, pagdating ko, parang sila, kanya-kanyang bayad. Right? I'm like, bakit? Okay. Ako daw magbabayad kasi birthday ko, di ba? Pero dito, iba ang culture nila dito. Like, pag birthday mo, like they pay for you. Right? So, iba.
It's different, but you know what? Like, and that's how it kind of reflects with our work as well too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like, the little things that we do for our clients kind of just illustrates how, again, I'm gonna. Sorry, blessed. I'm blessed. Thank you, Lord. Because we do help a lot, though. Like we don't just do it just for the goodness of our heart. It's just like more of a. Anyways, like, what are we talking about now?
Lasing ka na. Lasing na siya.
Okay, sorry. Okay, you know what? We'll wrap it up. I'm just rambling at this point. Hindi naman ako lasing. Oh, shoot.
So anyway, huwag niyo na lang siyang pansinin. It's getting late and. I need to get back to my kids and work. But, if you'd like, what we talked
more
about.
More
of this. Let us
just
know.
Just raw content.
We're just,
Should we just start this YouTube?
I know, we're trying it out at this point. We don't know how this is going to go.
Just combine the YouTube video and call it a day? Just real estate, Filipino real estate in Calgary?
Sure, let's do that.
That's good. Let's do that. Okay. If you want to see two Filipinos rambling in alcohol, you can subscribe and comment. You're going to see it on Instagram and YouTube. We're going to just, since we work together, let's just join the YouTube so it makes our life easier.
Yes.
And then call it a day.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll figure out the name after this. You'll probably just see it right in. But again, this is Gillian Cortez, your Filipino mortgage broker. My name is
Eric Blas from EXP Realty.
And her number is at 403-400-3064 for any mortgage needs.
Yeah, I don't know your number.
403-7... See, this is how much I call her. I just know. 403-763-9130 for any real estate needs, whether it's listing or buying. Again, getting approved, refinancing your property, she's the girl.
Yeah.
Or ate.
Listing, buying, anything that you need to know about Calgary and the properties surrounding Calgary, Eric is the guy.
We do Edmonton too, just to let you know.
Edmonton, yun nga. Sabi ko nga surrounding eh.
But you know what? Let me stop you there. If you were going to say that, she does all of Canada. She does all of Canada. Cheers to that.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless. Cheers. Have a good night. Love you all.
Love you all.
Bye.